Hey folks, welcome back to another Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Planet Trade, which is brought to you by Fat Moose Games. It's for 3 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, and games generally run about 135 to 240 minutes. In the faraway future, the population of Earth has increased drastically, and more resources are needed for the everlasting demands. The only logical solution was to search for additional resources on other planets, and expedition teams were sent into the vastness of space to search for planets with an atmosphere suitable for humans so they can live there and establish farms, mines, and production facilities. In this new reality, large companies are seeking to dominate the transport market in space. You are a CEO of your own company with your own fleet of spaceships. Discover planets and exploit these to sell resources, build factories, expand your company, and tax your citizens to achieve power and wealth. But be aware of your competitors because they have the same goals as you and will have the opportunity to attack you throughout the game. Who of you will have the best strategy? After 8 rounds of play, you will calculate your total victory points. And of course, there are several ways to score points. Your stock value, credit value, for every cube you can load on your transport ships, gold tokens, for every farm, mine, factory, and settlement or city you own. Keep cards that you've played that have a VP symbol, for every Explorer token you own, and for secret missions. So to win the game, you must collect the most points through shares, ownership, and secret missions. And if you do, you can call yourself the greatest trader in the galaxy. So this game has a lot going on, and each round of the game has 10 phases. Now that might seem like a lot, but it becomes very intuitive as you play and move through each of those different phases. Now each player is going to start with like 20 credits, they're going to have 2 ships, they're going to have a secret mission, they're going to have 3 event cards and 1 keep card. We'll take a look at the difference in a minute, and you have your different trade route tokens. Now this is the kind of standard setup you get for each of the players, and through the course of the game you're going to gain money, lose money, spend money, get more cards, and so forth, and try to complete your secret mission and even get more ships and then build on each of the planets so you can do more things for sure and increase your income. Now, the main board that you see here has what the current demand is for all the different resources that are needed to keep your population alive. And at the start of every round, you're going to be drawing demand cards. You'll be drawing 3 of those to see how the demand track is affected. It could go up, it could go down in any one of the particular type of resources, which could be bad if you're going to get that type of resource and sell it. It might be down from where it was in the previous round. And really that's the key, is that you're going to be going out to the planets to get resources so you can get more money to do more things. And every round of the game, you're going to be drawing a global event that affects everyone. These global events are varied and have all kinds of possibilities, like having an embargo on a certain commodity, or force you to draw more cards and changing the demand even more for that particular round. So those global events really do change up how each round plays out. Now, around the edge of the board, you're going to have your income track and your stock track. All the players will put their tokens there, and you'll be adjusting these throughout the course of the game. You also have the round tracker, and then you have these gold tokens. Now, they're going to give you 5 extra points at the end of the game if you acquire one of these, and they're all the different buildings that you can put on planets and so forth. So like farms, if you're the first one to build 4 farms, you're going to get that gold token. Now, through the rest of the round, you're going to be doing various things. Obviously, you have to determine who's getting what trade routes. You're going to be placing your tokens, determining that in turn order and so forth, but you're not placing your ships yet. Next up, you're drawing cards, which brings us to the cards. Perfect time. So you've got event cards and keep cards. Now, what's crucial here to know is that event cards are going to be played and then discarded. However, keep cards are played in front of you and help you out through the rest of the game. And also, these cards can only be played when you pay the cost in the top left corner. So event cards also have the ability to attack and defend. There's various icons across the top. Some of the keep cards will have victory point icons for what you get at the end, but also some of the keep cards have upkeep costs that you have to be mindful of. And some of the event cards have tokens that you'll play out around the different planets. All kinds of different things you can do with these, and it's very intuitive with each of the events and the keep cards, what what they're capable of and what you can do with them. But you have various number that you can draw based on how many of what type you're drawing. So you might just draw event cards, or you might draw a combination of the two. And it's varied based on what you're doing here, but you might just go all in on keep cards. You only get to draw 2 cards if you do that. But again, some of those keep cards can be super valuable through the course of the game, obviously. And you're not playing these cards yet. This is just a draw phase. So you have a hand to work with. You do have a hand limit of 8, and you have some tough choices to be made, because if you ever go over the 8, you immediately have to discard, but you get 2 credits for each card that you do discard. So there's some benefits here as well, and you might want to hold on to cards for later use and so forth, because some are keyed off of maybe keep cards being in play. So you need to keep that in mind and keep some cards in reserve. And you know, there's a lot of interesting choices to be made as you choose which cards, get ready for potentially being attacked, and having cards that will defend best for you. Now, specifically phase 4, there's a lot going on here. This is like the meat of the game, where you're playing event cards, you're playing keep cards, but you have to pay the cost. So you're paying for those cards in order to play them and doing whatever the cards call for. Now, it's important to note that attack and defend cards are not happening in this phase. That happens later in the round. But you can do the other events and the keep and get those ready for the next round, or even this round perhaps. And then you have the ability to buy more ships, more trade route tokens. You also can get explore tokens. You can build buildings on planets, and when you do, you're going to put a colored cube on those buildings so you know whose is who based on what color you are. So these cubes come in different types of colors, obviously, and they relate to not just you, the player, but also the different resources. And also, you have the ability to affect your stocks. So lots of different things here, and then you can also activate your keep cards that are in play. Now, the rest of the round goes pretty quickly. First up, you're going to be going off to those different trade routes. You're going to be putting your ship there and grabbing a cube that is available. And there's different cubes to choose from based on the planet and what they produce. So you grab a cube, put it on your ship. Now your ships can only hold 1 cube, but potentially you can upgrade your ship and have 2 cubes. So it is key, and those ships just stay in those trade routes, and then you move to the attack and defend phase. And what's interesting here is that how those cards work, you're still going to have to pay the cost like you would with any event card. But these cards have a different type of attack and defense. So you would need the same class of card in order to defend. So if someone plays an attack espionage, you would need to defend espionage in order to make that work and successfully defend against it. So that's going to be true for all the attack and defend cards. And then your ships come back to you, and you calculate how many credits you're going to get based on your income and what type of resources you brought back. You calculate that number based on the demand, and you'll grab your credits. And then to piggyback on top of that, the last thing you're really kind of doing is checking the population. Based on how much food came back, you'll move the population track up, and once you get to 20 and it revolves back to 1, then all the demand cubes move up by 1. So demand increases with more population. And then into the round is just kind of a refresh or restock phase for the planets, and then the round tracker moves up and there's a new first player and so forth, as you'd expect. Now, once you reach the 8th and final round, once you've completed that round, then it's time to calculate score. And like I said at the beginning, there's tons of different ways to get points in this game. And it's really how you best strategize and use your cards, and how you best manipulate the markets and so forth to get points in this game for sure. And you know, it's a really actually simple game to learn, but there's a lot going on, and how you put that together and how you best utilize the different planets and resources, and how you best utilize your cards. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen here has been in prototype form, so keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, with that said, you know, like I said, this game has a ton going on, and I really like the aspect of this demand for the population and how you best utilize the resources in order to get more credits so you can activate more cards and do more things through the course of your turn. So that whole like phase 4, where you can buy more ships and put settlements and cities and mines on planets, those are really key things. And also those buildings that you put out there can be upgraded through the course of the game as well. So it really gives you some really interesting choices as you move through and decide how best to use your credits and use those cards. But folks, ultimately, if this looks like something of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.